Hello, this is Rolf from Tesla Owners US, and today I have prepared a different topic because I am really convinced, that's my opinion, that energy and fossil fuels might cause a conflict which even extend to war. And this was and has really happened. And I want to let you know that some of my thoughts of how it could happen and how was it happening. So when I watched the political circumstances, energy became a tool that decided if nations can survive or not. I never wanted to be a part of this tool. And what did I do for that? And that comes after the intro.
Wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Okay, good. Now, when I see nations that consume a lot of energy and using non-reliable suppliers for that or supplies for that, then this could collapse relatively quickly. Because I noticed that from the recent events, and what's most important on that is really energy independence. Independence from energy is achieved when the power can be generated in the country of consumption. That's important. So you need to make sure that you can generate your own power. Otherwise, the independence might end up with a winner or a loser. So whoever has the most energy, what can be generated. And that is interesting, but from my perspective, I do want to come out as a winner. And how would I have to do that? So to create energy independence from coal, oil and gas, that is the most important thing what I think you need to know about. Because over the year my personal energy consumption is covered with 68 photovoltaic panels. Now you can cover your energy consumption differently as well, with geothermal or other means or heat pump systems and so on. For 5 years, I had no connection to gas anymore. That was another thing. So I had a gas, and my gas supplier was very disappointed when I told him that he can take the meter off. And 5 years after that, he said, actually, you never come back to us with gas, and I take the meter off completely. So I don't have any gas supply. Most of the households here in the US have gas supply in their house. First of them, for my wife, it was too dangerous, and for me, I just didn't want to have another dependency. So the cars are running on electricity that I generate for myself, including the house. The power walls will bring me a couple of days of ease to come over the time. So if I have enough sunshine, so I probably can disconnect completely from the grid today. But I don't, because I'm using it still a little bit of pushing it back into the grid and pulling it later. From my point of view, I do not need any fossil fuels. So if I can do it, can nations do it? Probably yes. So I'm independent. I'm independent of that. So make nations independent of those fossil fuels. So what would happen if, in other words, if others would do that as well? I suppose everybody would have to take care of his own energy to produce what they consume. So if everybody would take care of their own energy, what they consume, and say, let me look at my energy consumption, and that energy consumption I'm gonna recover in form of sustainable energy, then what we would have to talk about, actually about nothing. There would be two choices, what you have to do. When you consume more, you have to produce more, or you have to reduce the consumption. That's how easy it is. And I did reduction of the consumption for the house as well. The house was originally 23 megawatts a year, and I really reduced the consumption of the house to 13 megawatts. A lot of them is coming from the air conditioning system, which is now a heat pump system about insulation of windows and walls, about insulation of the roof. That was actually the most of the saving, but the biggest saving was the heat pump. So don't let someone talk you into a non-efficient air conditioning system. Ask for air conditioning system which has at least 20 years. They are not willingly to want to buy it, to build it in, but you have to force them to install it. And they do install it, but they don't want to admit it because they might get a cashback from their suppliers. And so what are New World nations now intend to do? New World nations, also the big industrial nations, all want to reduce their carbon footprint. Some of them to an extent of energy independence. Some of them 50, 70% or 100% energy independence. So means or non-fossil fuel use. There are declarations and commitments for the abstinence of those fossil carbons. So what will energy supplier nations do if their market breaks off? That's the question. They will fight it. What's the maximum extent of a fight? That's war. So if you are creating a crisis for that, then your price is going up, and demand will be maybe briefly fulfilled or reduced. So then the prices are going up, and you can achieve more money for the same or for a lesser goods what you deliver, which actually what nations are currently doing. These nations are conducting a form of war or a war. You're right, these actions, they do have effect of bringing uncertainty to the world, and these tensions will cause a rise in prices, and funds for alternative energy would need to be spent for fossil energy instead. And this is the most sad thing for that. So, and if you see the current situation in Europe, where Europe is committing themselves for a non-fossil fuel industry and environment, then the market breaks off. And when just the government in Germany has changed to a more social, green, liberal government, then you know that, and they now are meaning it. So that means they are real and they want to do that, and that will cause them to take action, or that will cause some nations who are supplying that to take actions out of this devil's cycle against all resistances. I think this is why fossil fuels are causing war. Without them, there would not be war. And that's why that thumbnail or that ticket is this, and it is all up to us to make this turn, to break out of this cycle. The best way to go to get ahead is to get started. So guys, think about it, get started, get out of that dependency, and start with converting to step by step to non-fossil fuel energy generation. And at the end, you can see this is really not becoming so complicated. That's all. Talk to you next time. Subscribe to the channel. This time we had another topic, and thumbs up. Bye-bye.